folks, it is Dennison Bertram, co-founder and CEO of Tally. And as you know, as hopefully you've been following along, we are doing a podcast that follows our own token launch process. And what we're doing is that we're showing everyone the sort of inside track of how you actually put together a token launch. We are launching using our own platform. So this is actually a form of both dog fooding and education, right? This is how we show folks that are considering doing token launches all the things that you need to understand how to do. So we've had different team members talk. And I've just gotten back from ETH Denver. I had a great time. The event was really great, high signal, and I've been back in New York. It's been very snowy. And I want to talk a little bit about like what we're working on right now. So primarily in-house, what we're doing right now is we continue to work on our platform. We have a couple of raises that are coming up on our platform from other teams. Shout out to IPOs, which is the next one, which is going live. So we've been taking a lot of the feedback that we've getting from the teams that are using the tool and the folks that are interested in using the tool and building it into it. So there's a lot of things that have been going on behind the scenes. Basically, the team is super busy. I'm also really busy working on the legal stuff. You know, a few episodes ago, you saw me in the in our counsel's office talking a little bit about the process that we need to be following for legal. That continues. Right now, we are in the phase where we actually have to notify all our investors that we're going to do a token. So if you are a project that has a side letter, basically you raise money as part of like this equity raise, and then you give these investors this side letter saying that if you do have a token, they're going to be able to have some of the token. But there's a lot of actual legal steps that go into actually doing that. So one of the constraints that we have is that we have to notify them in advance, and we have to give them a lot of documentation around what we intend to do, how we intend to launch the token. But in addition to that, then they have to sign off on that. So they have to sort of like say, yeah, we get it, we're into it, we're down, we agree. And we have to also provide a lot of other information for them. So one of those things is valuation. Valuation is kind of a funny thing because it's not something that we get to pick, or let's say that it's not something that we initially get to pick, right? So there's actually a firm that we use called Technos, and they do valuations of protocols. So they basically look at they look at a lot of different things. It's really like complex process that they put in, but they basically look at your protocol, the work that you've put into it, how complicated it is, comps to other things, and they kind of try and come up with an initial sort of like estimation of like what the price would be, so that you have something to give to investors, because investors actually have to exercise this warrant. So I'm going through the process right now of notifying everyone our cap table. We have a pretty large cap table, so there's a lot of folks with larger cap tables, but we have a decent sized cap table. So we have to go out and actually notify all of our investors that we're doing this thing, and we have to notify them of valuation, and then they have to come and they have to purchase their tokens. Sometimes they purchase them before, sometimes they purchase them at the time. And that valuation that we get from this third-party firm, in our case Technos, is what is used to compute or estimate or sort of like give a third-party price, evaluation on what these tokens are worth, and thus what the investor should be paying for them. It's also really important for the team, because the team also starts to get notifications that, for folks that have been getting equity, that they'll have this other kind of like option structure thing around tokens. And it's very important to get this valuation, because it almost looks like to the tax folks that you have maybe like a new kind of asset that you're getting. And if you don't do this properly, you can actually incur this huge tax bill for the team. So it's very important that you do this valuation, that this valuation is as accurate as possible, so that when they get their token allocations, or they get access to the token allocations, they're going to get it at a price that isn't going to cause anyone to have a crazy tax bill. Just heads down in this legal process, meeting with our lawyers basically every other day, going through all the process for these token valuations, and notifying the team of the tokens, and notifying investors of the tokens. So that's where we're at right now. Do not skip this process. Make sure you do this process, because it will bite you if you miss this process. But I'm going to cut it at that, and see you soon.